Hello, this is Priscilla, and I will be teaching a lesson. It is called, what is that? What exactly is this lesson called? This lesson is going to be Call of the Wild. As we look at the information that it's on the passage that you both will look at, I want you to read in your best voice. Even if you are not familiar with one of the words, say the word, pronounce the word as best as you possibly can. Again, my name is Priscilla. Kenza, as soon as my screen is shared, I'd like for you to start reading what you see. Kenza, you may begin.
The first paragraph?
Yes, please.
Okay. Beck did not read the newspapers, or he would have known that trouble was brewing, not alone for himself but for every Tidewater dog, strong of muscle and with warm, long hair from the Puget Sound to San Diego, because men groping in the Arctic darkness had found yellow metal, and because steamship and transportation companies were booming. Yes.
I'm listening. You hear thousands of men.
Were rushing.
Continue.
Yes. The thousands of men were rushing into the Northland. These men wanted dogs, and the dogs they wanted were heavy dogs with strong muscles and protect them from the frost.
Okay, thank you. What actually has happened is that Priya has entered the classroom. I have muted her microphone. Thank you, Kenza. Let's see. Sandeep, could you read the same thing, please?
Yes, Buck did not read the newspapers, or he would have known that trouble was brewing, not alone for himself, but for every Tidewater dog, strong of muscle and with warm, long hair for Puget Sound to San Diego, because men, groping in the Arctic darkness, had found a yellow metal, and because steamship and transportation companies were booming the find, thousands of men were rushing into the northern land. These, these men wanted dogs, and the dogs they wanted were heavy dogs, with strong muscles by which to toil to and furry coats to protect them from the frost. Buck lived at a big house in the sun-kissed Santa Clara Valley,
Okay,
Judge
Sandeep.
Miller's place.
Sandeep,
Hmm?
the first paragraph is sufficient. So, so
Sorry.
that's not a problem. Let's take a look at this first passage that we were just reading and listen to the way that I will read the exact same thing. Pay close attention to the punctuation and how my voice rises and falls and come to a complete stop based upon the punctuation. Buck did not read the newspapers, or he would have known that trouble was brewing, not alone for himself, but for every Tidewater dog, strong of muscle and with warm, long hair from Puget Sound to San Diego. Because men, groping in the Arctic darkness, had found a yellow metal, and because steamships and transportation companies were booming the find, thousands of men were rushing into the Northland. These men wanted dogs, and the dogs they wanted were heavy dogs with strong muscles by which to toil and furry coats to protect them from the frost. If you'll notice, I've got several words highlighted. We'll take a look at those words that I've highlighted that I presume would be the most difficult. But if there are other words that are difficult, then I will certainly elaborate on those for you as well. Let's see. Kinza, looking at this first passage that you just read, can you summarize for me what that passage is about? Can you summarize what that passage is about? Without looking at the passage, can you summarize what that passage is about, Kinza? Let me see. I think I had muted your microphone. Now I will unmute your microphone. Or perhaps you muted it. I'm not sure. Can you unmute your microphone, Kinza? All right. Sandy, could you summarize this paragraph, please?
Priscilla, can you see my message?
No, I removed the passage because I want you to tell me what you read.
No. Just read my message over there, towards the right side, bottom.
Okay, so what you want me to know is that you just read it, you didn't concentrate on what you were reading. All right then. Kinza?
Yes.
Could you summarize that paragraph for me that you just read? Are you able to summarize that for me? Or are there words in this passage that you do not understand?
Brewing.
Probing. All right, let's take a look at the article again. And the word probing, if you look here, you'll see that in this picture here, it's the second picture on the right.
Hmm?
Well, I'm sorry, did you say groping? Is that the word that we're looking for?
No. Brewing.
Booming.
Brewing.
Brewing. Okay,
Yes,
great.
brewing.
Excellent. Coffee, do you drink coffee perhaps in the morning?
Yes.
Great. When you put your cold water on the stove, before
No.
before it starts to boil, it's going through the process. So brewing is a process to change one form to something else. And I would imagine that in this case, trouble is about to happen. It hasn't happened yet, but it is beginning to brew. Is that meaning clear?
Yes, Priscilla.
Excellent. Excellent. So Priya, are you here? Are you able to speak? Priya, are you able to speak?
Yes, I'm here.
Excellent. Would you like to read for us that first passage? Read for us the first passage. We will
Okay.
listen.
Okay. Vak didn't read the newspapers, or he would have known that trouble was brewing, not alone for himself, but for every tight-watered dog, strong of muscle and with warm, long hair from Puget Sound to San Diego. I don't know that. Only this much? Or full?
Continue.
Hello?
Continue.
Okay. Because men groping in the Arctic darkness had found a yellow metal, and because steamship and transportation companies were booming the find, thousands of men were rushing into the Northland. These men wanted dogs, and the dogs they wanted were heavy dogs with strong muscles. Why?
Very
Which
good. I'm sorry. I took it away too soon. With strong muscles. Good.
why which
By which to toil.
to toil, and furry coats to protect them from the frost.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Now, Coffee, I'd like for you, Priya, and Kinza to read yourself this passage to yourself as we listen to Eunice, and then I will ask each of you to summarize what you think this passage is about. If there are words that you don't know, please let me know also. Eunice, would you please read for us? Actually, I think Eunice has just left. So,
He left and there is a new person, Rizwan.
okay. Rizwan, hello. Would you read the passage that is on the screen for us if you would like to? Would you like to read the passage that is on the screen now? Rizwan, please read for us. All right, Rizwan may not be able to read, Sandeep, so could you summarize that for us, if you wish? I see that Eunice is back. Eunice, would you read for us now? And Eunice will be the last person to read today. Eunice, I'm not exactly sure if you have a working microphone. I'm going to go back to Sandeep. Sandeep, could you summarize for us? He says that he has a little problem. Sandeep, would you like to summarize? Or I could ask questions in this manner. Do you think Buck is an animal, or do you think Buck is a person, Sandeep? I don't get a response. Buck is actually an animal, and that's why he cannot read the newspaper.